Hello. Do you remember last week we saw how Jonah finally did go to Nineveh, an enemy city where the people were doing bad things? He told the people there that God was going to destroy their city in 40 days unless they turned back to him. And they did. Everyone, from the king to the least important person, repented. They turned away from their wicked ways and turned to God. Good news, you'd think. The city was saved. The people were forgiven and restored to a right friendship with God. Surely it's time to celebrate. But not Jonah. No. Jonah is angry. Why is Jonah angry about this? It's because he didn't want the people of Nineveh to be forgiven. He didn't like them. They were his enemies. Jonah thought his country of Israel was better than anyone else's, and his people, the Israelites, were greater than any other. So he didn't think God should bother with those bad Ninevites. Let them be destroyed. Oh dear. You see, Jonah had made an idol out of being an Israelite. He didn't care about anyone else. What's an idol? It's something that pushes God out of his rightful place in our hearts. So, you see these jugs? I'm going to fill them with water. And there we are. Okay. The rightful place for the water is in the jug. Here I've got some rocks, and what happens when I put the rocks into the water? The water is pushed out of its rightful place and into the tray. Now imagine it's a bit like this with idols and God. If I write the name of some idols, some things that push God out of our hearts, I could write the Xbox, or image, what I look like, money, family, or maybe the house, what that looks like, our grades that we get given. These things aren't all bad things, but when they push God out of his rightful place in our hearts, they become idols, which we love and are more concerned about than God. But like the water out of its rightful place makes a mess, pushing God out of our hearts makes a mess too. Jonah was so proud of being an Israelite, it pushed God out of his heart. And we see the mess it makes because he gets angry that God is kind and forgiving to anyone, instead of being glad about it. And that's what happens with idols. We forget what God is like, and we're only concerned for this thing which we think will make us happy. So let's be aware of the things that push God out of our hearts and say sorry and receive forgiveness from our compassionate God who loves to show mercy to all his people.